What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to wrap up a very long-term project. Today, Project 6-Men will be complete. That's right, the project that's been going on for a long time, the project that you probably thought was actually done, the project I think I actually made a video saying that it was done is not really done. It wasn't done, but now it's done. What the hell am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the final piece of the puzzle, the thing that this cabinet really needed, the thing that I've been kind of waiting on because they were A, scarce, hard to find, and B, incredibly expensive for what they were. The thing that I'm talking about is a molded coin door from Arcade1up. These things, I know it seems silly, maybe looking back, how was this ever a big deal? But it really was a big deal back in the day. Everybody really wanted a little bit more authenticity in their 3/4 scale cabinets, and the coin door is so iconic, it's so identifiable. It is the thing you think of when you think about an arcade, and all their machines was missing that. So they finally came out with these things, and everybody wanted them, and they couldn't wait for Arcade1up to sell these things, on their own. And they never did. Arcade1up never releases in any way, shape, or form on their store, via some third-party, partner, nothing. They never, ever offered this thing for sale. So what does that mean? You had to go to eBay, where they were going for $85, $90, $100 for a single, Arcade1up, official Arcade1up molded coin door, and really there was no other option. Now, a lot of people came out with great 3D printed options, but as far as molded coin doors, Arcade1up had the only one, and that is until our friends over at Retro530 finally, bit the bullet. They had to really, put up a lot of capital and a lot of time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears, but they finally came out with their own molded coin door. And this was the piece that I was really waiting for. It's something that the cabinet really needed. Project 6-Men looks great. I love the cabinet, but let's be honest, that eye panel, that front panel underneath the control panel, was just bare. And the fact that, I widened the cabinet made that problem just a little bit worse, a little more glaring. So it needed a coin door, but this is a 6-player cabinet, so it didn't need one coin door. It needed 3 coin doors. Now, needless to say, that was going to be really expensive if you went the Arcade1up route, but Retro530 has given us an option that I think is very affordable. If you go to their website right now, you're going to see that these things are going for $45 without any kind of illumination, no functionality, just the actual molded coin door itself. And that's not a bad deal, especially when you consider, like I said, these things are going for $85 to over $100, especially if you include shipping on eBay. Now, if you want these things lit, completely lit, they're going to go for $60. But okay, so that price seems okay, but what are we getting? What's in the box? How does this compare to an Arcade1up molded coin door? Well, I gotta say, the comparison is really, really close. Overall, the size is going to be exactly the same. Some of the mounting posts are going to be removed. You're going to have 4 mounting posts on the one from Retro530 versus the one that you're going to get from Arcade1up. Arcade1up has additional posts in the middle. But a side-by-side comparison, these things are, really, really close. You're going to see, obviously, a little bit of shape difference in the coin door, and then the coin return slot on the bottom, or the square on the bottom, is going to be a little bit different size and shape. So I went ahead and I got 3 of these. I did not reach out to Retro530 at all. I wanted to purchase these, obviously, to support his efforts and support that great company over there. So I bought 3 of these. Once I got them in hand and knew that they were going to be, pretty good. I mean, the quality was going to be pretty good. The quality actually kind of exceeded my expectations. But once I knew that the quality was good, I went ahead and also got 3 different, actually I got two illuminated sets of coin door lights. So one is going to be the single, and then another was going to be a double. So with all my lights, with all my coin doors here, now it was time to actually install this. If you need a little bit of a refresher, if you look under the hood, you're going to see that this is powered by a PlayStation 3, and then it has 6 different players, obviously, with 6 different encoder boards, which means 6 different USB ports. So the first thing I had to do was take off that, well, I didn't want to actually remove the entire control panel. I thought I could just sort of flip this thing up, but to do that, I had to unplug player 1 and player 6. Those cables, those USB cables, just didn't quite make it. So I unplugged those and I was able to swing this up out of the way, and then I took the 2 panels out of the front. Now, with the cabinet tore down as far as it needed to be, it was time to take that eye panel out to the shop and prepare it for those beautiful molded coin doors. Now, luckily, Retro530 includes a template for you to use with each coin door, so this process was made incredibly simple. I didn't have to worry about trying to accurately measure the location of the holes and guess at a drill bit size. All that stuff is listed on the template for you. Now, with all the holes drilled, it was time to test fit those molded coin doors, and they fit with only one issue. And this could be my issue because I'm using a custom eye panel that could be a little bit thicker than an Arcade1up, and it's that the screws weren't quite long enough to secure the coin doors to the panel. But hey, that's no big deal if you have a giant hot glue gun. So I hot glued the 4 mounting posts for each coin door, and that seemed to work fine. That was really secure. The fitment, if you drill the proper size hole, is pretty snug anyway, so this was really no big deal. And the last thing that I had to do to prep that eye panel for installation was to mount the LEDs, and the hole, unfortunately, that I drilled in the panel was a little bit too big. I didn't follow those instructions from Retro 530, so I had to kind of hold these in place while I applied a lot of hot glue. So it took a little bit longer than necessary, but really at the end of the day, it was no big deal. Hot glue will cover all your sins. So now that the eye panel is all prepped and ready to be installed, there's still some work left to do on the cabinet itself, and that's the issue of power. Now, if I was just going to go with the molded coin doors, everything would be fine. Let's go and put this thing back in and button it up, and hey, let's just sit back and enjoy it. But I had to do it. I had to light these things up to really complete the look. And I was actually in kind of a predicament. I was out of power. I was out of USB ports, to be a little bit more precise. On my PlayStation 3, I broke out the 2 USB ports, broke those out into 3 so that I would have enough for all of my encoders. And I could just swap those out with maybe some 4-ways instead of some 3-ways. But I am a little bit concerned that I could be using too much power from the PlayStation 3. And remember, we have to use these USB ports to actually communicate back and forth. We're using them as controllers. So I didn't want to add any more strain to the system that I had. Now on this project, I did use a power supply to drop down the 120 volts to 12 volts DC, so that I could use that to run things like the marquee light. So 12 volts is great, but USB power is 5 volts, so I need an additional step-down transformer. This just isn't going to cut it. Well, luckily, I was able to go to Amazon and find exactly what I needed. It has 2 bare wires for the input voltage, and then the output, instead of just using bare wires, was actually 2 USB ports. This is going to be perfect. So I found a good spot to go ahead and mount the transformer. I was able to wire that in directly to the terminal strip on the output of the transformer of the original power supply. And then I was able to route those USB ports through the hole where all the other wiring is gone, and then secure that to the actual end of the MDF for a really good, secure mounting point. So with all this stuff sticking out of the back of the eye panel, there was one more thing I needed to do, and that was to remove that cross member temporarily so I could get all this installed. Now, once it was installed, I was able to replace the cross member and then make all my final connections, put everything back together, and then finally hit the switch, step back, and see what I got. And what I got is some 6-player, 3-coin door arcade goodness. I absolutely love the way this turned out. This was definitely the last piece of the puzzle for this project. I really do dig it. I love it. I did think about maybe doing something like I did on my Alien vs. Predator and just make a decal and I can slap it on the front. But this really is what this cabinet needed. This really emphasizes the fact that this is a 6-player cabinet. It is different than any other Arcade1up out there. You know, it's not just going to have 1 coin door or 2 coin doors. It's got 3 coin doors. So if you're looking for a molded coin door to finish off your project and you don't want to spend $100 on eBay for a secondhand Arcade1up piece, head on over to Retro 530 and check out what they got. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Okay, so what do you think about Project 6-Men being completely wrapped up? Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. The good, the bad, the ugly. Should I just keep it the way it is? Should I tear it all apart, start over, and remake this with like a 75-inch TV? I like where your head's at. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see you next time.